Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain. Alright, so for this one here, brings us back to Necropolis, which if you don't remember is located in the northern section of House P, or House Fjarlin. And like Necropolis 1, in order to be able to pick up the quest here, which is Shadow Crypt, you do need to complete the 4 surrounding quests. Once you complete all 4, you gotta make sure you do not re-pick them up, otherwise you will have to re-complete that part of the quest. Once you've turned them all in, and their cups are blue, you can go ahead and talk to the Herald, which you'll be able to pick up the quest. Now again, like the end part first one, so the Bloody Crypt, now we're on to the Shadow Crypt. Like that quest, in order to rerun this one, which a lot of people love doing, you do need to complete all 4 of the other quests there on the outside, or you can do the method of window farming the quest, or if you're running with a group, only have one person pick up the quest, and then the next time through you can have a second person pick up the quest, and you can do this as many times as you like there. Alright, so this quest here is actually probably one of the most run quests in Necropolis, in the lower Necropolis anyway. Reason being is it is a large amount of experience. So before we even move, we're looking at, just over 51,000 experience, and it can actually be done really, really quickly. I won't actually be doing a quick path for you. I'll actually opt to do the longer path, the full 12 gear path. Reason being that way I can show you the little extra at the end. Though all you need is an 8 gear path. Now, right now that doesn't make a lot of sense if you're newer to this quest. But what I'm going to do is I'll post a link in the description to the DDO wiki page showing these paths. And while we're going through, I'll also talk you through how to solve the rooms there. So right when we walk in, we have 2 sets of shrines. We have Dame Kala on the ground here, and then we have some doors. So as soon as you talk to Dame Kala, it kind of starts the quest off. So we're going to talk to him, and they are going to give you a unique trinket item, which is Death's Door. This allows you to use Dimension Door as a clicky a couple of times there. As well, it also starts triggering a fight, so just be prepared to kind of get ambushed by shadows. Alright, and now once all the shadows are killed, the doors surrounding the room will open up, and we can now proceed. Alright, so the first thing to note while using these paths, the door that you want to take is always the eastern door here, and you want to proceed through this. Now, this quest is really annoying for newcomers or people who don't use the walkthrough paths. Reason being, they'll port you to random rooms based on which color is in this one here. So we're going to head through this one and just see exactly which path that we have. Alright, so we have the green path. Now, if you are colorblind, don't worry. It's real easy to tell once we get a little bit further in. So in each room, there will be kind of a wave of enemies to kill. Sometimes being a named creature, which ours is Twilight. Once everyone dies, not including any names, so I can kill everybody but Twilight. And what's going to happen is it's going to spawn in a chest. Now, inside the chest itself, it is going to have a gear. So there's our chest. I'm just going to pick that up. I don't know why I did that. So inside this chest, we have our gear. And it does state small green gear. Alright, so this is actually one of the easier 12 paths. So now, depending on which path you go, it's going to randomly port you into other similar rooms like this one here. Alright, so for this specific path, for the 12 gear one, we actually want to head east. So I'm just going to grab this. And it's going to keep going through the path laid out here. So they are quite in depth on the wiki there, so don't worry.
Did something move on the other
So
side?
as you see, we came in from the east. Well, this one we actually ported out in the east. And another thing to point out is just because we entered from that one, if I had gone out again east, which is actually what I gotta do, it's not gonna take us to the same same room we just left. It's gonna take us to another room altogether. Alright, so in this room here, around one of the corners, we will have a chest. Again, just make sure that you go and grab these chests. They are a quest requirement. Now, you need at least 2 of every color. That is absolute must-have.
The Shadow Guard's voice hisses in the
However, there is actually 3 of each gear that you can obtain, and in doing so actually will unlock an additional chest at the end, which can contain named loot. Alright, so there we go. Now we're gonna head east again, and now we're in the red maze. So same thing as the last one, just changes the color of the ambient, you know. Alright, and this one's super simple here. So we got our chest, and just like before, we want to head east again. So depending on which path we get, like, it does change greatly. Alright, so for this one here, we have a lot of phase spiders. So the pyramid rooms, it doesn't matter the color of the room. Each style of room is all completed the same. So you have mazes, you have the columns, which was the first one that we fought with all the gargoyles there. We have these pyramids. There's also an underwater one as well. Alright, so there we go. And then there's also a torch one. There's a yellow. From here we want to actually head north. So here we go. So this is another one of those rooms we entered in from the north, and we're actually going to exit again from the north, taking us to a completely different room. So got around the sides. Alright, so it's on that corner. Here we go. Back out through the north. Now we have a water one. So
an underwater maze.
In these ones, it is fairly difficult for a lot of people to sometimes navigate. In this case, we want to head north inside the water. So what I do recommend is when you're running these types, this quest in particular, you have one person picking up the gears, and everybody else just kind of follow the path. Now, generally speaking, you'll have one person who has a guide up, and they'll explain which way to go. I know I myself, I tend to do it after each room. So I'll be like north in water, and then you would go north. We would clear that room. Then I would tell you where to go from there before we proceed on. Some people will just post it right in chat. For example, they might go like east, 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 north a bunch of times, and just you got to keep track of which one you're on. I find that causes a lot more problem and people get lost. But you know, it is up to each individual person. Alright, so here we are north in water to the torches. Now this is actually probably one of my favorite rooms in here. Not this specific color, just the torch room in general. Alright, so first we're going to clear everybody. Then I'm going to explain how these torches work. Because a lot of people don't realize. So we have the torches. You can just start pulling them. But if you get the order wrong, it turns them out. Now, of course, you can just sit here long enough and figure it out. But there is a little hint. If you look up behind each one, you see a set of 2 waterfalls. One may have water, both may have water, or none. So this one is on the water is on the right side. This one, the water is on the left side. So the pattern that you want to do is actually the right waterfall, the left waterfall, and then both waterfalls. Once you do those 3, it's going to light up the 4th one, and you'll be able to grab your chest. Now, the pattern does change. Sometimes you actually got to cross the center. Sometimes it's just around the edge like we were right here. Again, it can change. So just the easy way is to just look up at the waterfalls and figure out which one's which. Now, sometimes when you enter it, there is a visual bug showing that one of the torches are already lit. Even if it shows that it is lit, make sure you click on that torch. Otherwise, the game is still registering at it has not been clicked or activated. So if you skip that one in the sequence, it'll just reset them all. Though at that point, it would turn out the light there. Alright, so from here we want to head north and actually do the the torch room again. Got a Famine Reaper this time. Now I never recommend placing down your fighting defenses the second you walk in. Reason being, if you happen to back up too far, you might port yourself out. And then of course you wouldn't want to do that there. Alright, so actually this one here is one of the ones we got to cross over. So we got right, we got left, and then we have both. So yeah, it's a super simple pattern, but a lot of people are actually unaware of that. Alright, so we got another pyramid. So same thing again. Spiders are annoying. So we're gonna head north again. So again, for this one, I like to just kind of toss all my crowd controlling effects right on that pedestal where the chest is gonna spawn. It's kind of a nice central point. Chest. And then again we want to head north. Now this one here, once we go north, it's kind of just goes there. We're actually back in a room that we've already completed, which is our green maze. Now, this is where we would actually want to go ahead and use that dimension door clicky. So here it is right here. It's Death's Door. Just kill off these guys. So we're going to go ahead and use that there. And we're going to go through the door. I'm going to just put on my item again. Call hireling. Alright, so that brings us, of course, back to the center here. And we can continue proceeding. Now, one thing to point out, only with the 12 gear method do you need to use the dimension door to come back to the start. If you're just going after the simple 8 gear method, it doesn't the path itself doesn't require you to use that dimension door there. Alright, so from here we actually want to head west, which again will take us to a room that we had completed here. And rather than heading north like we did last time we were in here, we are actually going to head south. Now, the reason we didn't just from this room head south is because depending on the layout of the maze there, with the green maze, it may or may not have actually let you access the hirelings in here with us. It may or may not have actually let you access the chest. So it is good to just follow the paths fully. Even sometimes if you don't need it, like obviously we could have skipped that little tiny section there, but it's not that hard to just go through that one there. Alright, so here's one of the ones where it's already showing it as lit, but I do need to hit it anyway. And there we go. So here again we're going to head to the west. And this will take us back to the start again. But we're almost done. For now, we need to head south. And then again, a room that we've done, as we've already cleared most of the rooms, there's not much left. All we have is one last yellow room, which is right here. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly grab that chest. And then I'm going to check my inventory just to make sure I have everything here. So I should put my weapon back on. So, if you're going for the full 12 gear, of course, you should make sure that you have at least 3 of everyone, which there is only 3 of everyone at max. And then we're going to want to head to the end. Now, the path to the end is actually kind of interesting. So if you're making your way through and you're not sure where the end is, at some point you will run into this banner. You'll notice this is the only one that actually had this banner. Now, doesn't matter which path you take and which room is leading to the end, it will always have this banner on the path showing the end.
A long hallway ascends the
So just like before, it's going to port us into a rando kind of room. Now this one here has 8 levers, 4 on each side and 1 of each color on each side.
with the gear in place.
Now only the person with the gears can unlock them. Now a trick for this here is if you click to unlock it, you can stop yourself from pulling it and you can move on to the next one. So I find for sake of speed, actually if you have a second person going behind and pulling as you're unlocking, it goes quite a bit faster,
As the
allowing you to
final
open up the
lever
door here.
falls, the door slowly raises.
Alright, so from here, we head on in, and it's kind of like the pre-end fight. Now, in here, you're going to have a shadow for each one of the quests that we've done. So we got Guard, King, Lord, and Knight. Now, when we arrive, they kind of do their own little speech, which does take a little bit of time. So you can place some preparations in for the fight here. So, the first thing here, we got the Spectre of Kala. Now, once she dies, if she actually dies, they will start. If not, you may actually have to talk to her here again. There we go. So basically, you fight the Spectre. Now, one of two things are going to happen. Either you kill her, do enough damage to just bypass the trigger of talking to her, or it'll basically make her inert. If you make her inert, all you got to do is talk to her, and it'll insta-kill the Spectre version of her, starting the fight with the Wraiths. Or if you just wait enough time, it'll eventually just kill itself. From here, we have our shrines. So if you want to rest up before the end fight, now is the time. As again, the boss here can be a little bit of a pain if you're not prepared. So the boss mechanic here is, as you're fighting him, he's gonna like do his typical vampire thing, go invisible. When he comes back, he's actually gonna have copies of himself. Now these copies have vastly less hit points, though the hit point bar is exactly where the main boss's hit point bar is, so it makes it very hard to tell which one is which. However, if you hard target the boss, so once we get through here, I'll explain that. So we can either use tab to target or right click to target, and you'll see the ring like fully goes around him. When he disappears and comes back here, so come back in a second, it's still targeted on him here. So this was the one it was targeted on. There he is. So there he is, already targeted. And you just want to stick through that, like, and it just makes it easier to keep track of him. Obviously, the other method is to just kill them all quick, and then you'll know which one is which. Now, once he dies, all that's left is to touch the altar here, and then it's going to complete the quest. So we're going to do a quick look at the XP sheet. Like, it's showing 52,000. As we touch that, that's 62, almost 63,000 experience. Plus the optionals, that's another, what, 6,000. That's 68, we'll say 69,000 experience for this quest. Now, this run in particular took us 21 minutes. Again, that's because we took the long path and the explanation. If you're going with somebody who knows their stuff, you can usually get this one done in less than 10 minutes. I think some of the quickest runs I've been in has been around the 5-minute mark, so it's super fast. Now, once you complete there, what you're going to actually want to do is touch the altar again, and that will port you to the end, like the throne room here. So the throne room, it gives us 3 chests. So these 3 chests are always guaranteed. So I'm just going to quickly loot them here. Now you can get some named items, including some arrows, which you don't actually find a lot of named arrows. As well, you'll also find a scarab. So I did not get any of the named these ones. Now you'll also notice in this end room we have another set of levers. Now, if you did the 8 path, obviously you wouldn't have enough gears to unlock them all. But if you've gone and collected the last of them, it will actually open up the door right there, giving you a 4th chest. Now this chest, despite from here, it's actually ginormous. Like, look at this thing. You can actually literally hide inside of it. So, again, just a really nice loot. Uh, the box itself is really nice. The loot itself is, for the most part, random trash. You can get, again, sometimes a named item out of it. Now, another thing I want to point out, a couple more things rather. If you've gone through the bloody crypt and you've purified that whatever one you've picked up, whether the emerald claw or the silver flame, you'll have their amulet here. We can actually click on this altar here and it will now upgrade that. So there's our upgraded pendant. And lastly, because we've gone through and completed all 5 of the quests here now, and we've picked up those scarabs, we can now again go back to the Stone of Change, place all 5 of them in there, and it will actually break it down and give us another new type of scarab dust. So I've actually already gone ahead, because I have run these so many times, I've got a few sitting in the bank here. So I've already gone through and created some dust here. Right here. So I gotta take that out of my bag first and foremost. So here we are, we got the dark scarab powder. Now again, he has 3 different rewards, so I did get enough so that we can go through and look at all the rewards here. So we got that one, we got the docent, and then finally the bracers. Put that back in there. Alright, so here we go. So here is the signet ring. Truth be told, these ones are not the greatest. They're level 7. I mean, it does have intel and charisma 4, as well as an undead guard. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not the greatest either. We have Morless Dawson, so it actually is a little bit of a caster Dawson here. And then we have Righteous Bracers. So, not overly too great, but of course I wanted to showcase them all for you, let you guys make that decision for yourself. And yeah, so that has been the Shadow Crypt, as well as that the Scarab turn in here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.